Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna start a new series, What If Naruto Was Trained by Kaguya, Part 1. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
A woman stood in the middle of an endless void. The woman had a regal beauty, with long, flowing white hair that reached her feet, pale skin, eyebrows that were cut low and round, a sign of royalty, red lipstick, clear white eyes, and a slit in the middle of her forehead. She wore a high-collared hime kimono with tomo running down the middle and intricate gold and purple lines on the edges of the gown. The two horns on her head were the most noticeable thing about her. This woman is Kaguya Otsutsuki, the creator of Chakra, the rabbit goddess, and the mother of the Sage of Six Paths. Kaguya was watching as one of the pieces of her power, the Kyuubi no Kitsune, or Katsumi as Kaguya thought her name was, attacked the village Kano Hagakure, which her grandsons Indra and Asura had built in their previous lives. Even though her sons Hagoromo and Hemura locked her in the moon, she was still able to see what was going on in the elemental countries. It made Kaguya want to laugh in Hagoromo's face that the people he trusted so much were turning his ninchu into weapons of war and sealing away the tailed beasts. But it also made her mad that these lowly humans could still use her chakra, which shouldn't have been given to them in the first place. Are you watching, you stupid son? These people used the power you gave them to lie, cheat, steal, and kill each other, putting your own work in jail, Kaguya thought. Just then, a blonde man and a red-haired woman with 3 young boys walked onto the battlefield. From what Kaguya has seen, the man was Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, and the woman was Kushina Uzumaki, the Red Death. The 3 babies were their newborn sons Arashi, Menma, and Naruto. So, that's Asura's newest form, Kaguya thought as she watched baby Naruto. Kaguya watched as Minato called for the Shinigami to seal Katsumi's yin and yang chakras in Arashi and Menma while sealing Naruto's soul. However, the Shinigami let the man live instead of taking his soul, which was a surprise to Kaguya. Now that she was interested, Kaguya watched as the family went back to Konoha, where Minato called his sons Arashi and Menma heroes for stopping the Kyuubi's chakra. Everyone cheered for the new twin princes of Konoha, which made Kaguya shake her head, and her sons wondered why she kept most humans locked up in the infinite Tsukuyomi. As the villagers celebrated their new heroes, the Namikaze family went back to the Hokage's office and met with Tsunade Senju, a descendant of Asura and a member of the Senju clan, and Jiraiya, a member of the Sannin, who made Kaguya growl and glare at the man. After being trapped in the moon, Kaguya learned that it was the Grand Toad Sage who told her sons about the humans she kept locked up in the infinite Tsukuyomi. Since then, she has had a burning hatred for all toads and anyone who calls them, swearing that once she was free, she would hunt down and kill those worthless creatures and their callers. Jiraiya told the new parents about a prophecy he got from the toads about a child who would bring peace to the elemental countries. Kaguya groaned in resignation when they all agreed that Menma or Arashi was the child in the prophecy. Yes, because figuring out what a prophecy means is always smart, Kaguya thought sarcastically. Then she frowned and changed the view to see Naruto alone in a room. They pretty much forgot about their third son and focused on the other 2 instead. Even though Kaguya knew she wasn't the best mother because she hardly ever saw her sons, she never gave one more attention than the other. So, it was really sickening to see 2 parents, who talked a lot about the importance of family and friends, ignore one of their own children because of a prediction made by a senile old toad with 1 foot in the grave. And they said I was a demon, Kaguya thought. But she might be able to use this to her advantage. Changing the image once more, this time to a clan compound, this time the Uchiha clan, which is Indra's family. When Kaguya went to a certain room, she saw a sleeping baby girl. It was Satsuki Uchiha, the new daughter of the clan leader, and the latest version of Indra. Yes, this could be great, thought Kaguya as she smiled and turned on her Byakugan. One thing that not many people knew about her Byakugan was that it really did live up to its name, the all-seeing eye. After she was locked up, Kaguya found out that her eyes gave her glimpses of the past, present, future, and possible futures. It's how she knew what would happen after being sealed away. Hagoromo's ninchu, sharing chakra, his sons turning against each other, and everything else. Kaguya also saw Zetsu's plan to bring her back to life. It was so complicated that she wondered if he had thought of everything that could go wrong. But now she will make her own plans, ones that will work in a few years instead of Zetsu's plan, which will take centuries. Yes, I'll be back soon, and everyone will be afraid of me. And happy, Kaguya thought. Time skip 9 years Konoha. Minato told his sons, who were standing on a branch. Well done, Menma and Arashi, you're doing great. Soon you'll be as strong as your father. Kushina crossed her arms and yelled, hey, don't forget me, Minato. They'll be badass just like their Ka-chan. Minato laughed sheepishly. Please, we won't be as strong as you two. We'll be the strongest people in the world, right, Nai-san? Menma said to his brother with a smirk. Yes, no one will be stronger than us, Arashi agreed, and both parents smiled at their children. The family didn't know it, but another boy was watching them from a tree. He had cold, detached eyes as he looked at them. The boy was Naruto Uzumaki, the third son of Minato and Kushina, and the younger brother of Arashi and Menma. Arashi and Menma call him their punching bag. Naruto laughed at how his brothers' egos were getting bigger because they had learned how to walk on trees. It wasn't a big deal, he said, because he had learned how to do it when he was 6, but no one praised him for it. No, because his family and the rest of the village thought he was a weakling with no talent who would never be as good as his brothers. Menma and Arashi reminded him of this every day. Naruto was stronger than he let on, but only 2 people knew it. While Menma and Arashi were trained by their parents, Naruto trained on his own and sometimes with his best friend. He liked doing it this way because he could keep his skills a secret. He couldn't have the villagers hate him either. See, when Naruto's brothers held the Kyuubi's chakra, they were seen as heroes. But when Naruto held the Kyuubi's soul, he was seen as the Kyuubi himself. Naruto had to live in fear of the villagers for the first 5 years of his life. He was always looking over his shoulder, but it didn't help. They always found him, and that's when the beating started. Naruto couldn't keep track of how many times he was beaten almost to death and had to drag his broken body home. He tried to tell his parents what was going on, but they didn't believe him, even when they saw him covered in his own blood. To his parents, he was just a troublemaker who played tricks on people and got in trouble. But Menma and Arashi are the real troublemakers who blame Naruto. He remembered that when they were 4, Naruto had drawn a picture of the whole family, hoping that his parents would praise him for something. Even though he went to get some water, when he came back Arashi was showing their parents the drawing and saying he made it for them. When Naruto said Arashi was lying and that the picture was his parents yelled at him for trying to take credit for his brother's hard work and sent him to his room. That was the day Naruto started to dislike his family. When they were 5, Menma was running around the house and ran into a standing vase that was their mother's favorite. The vase fell and broke. Menma blamed Naruto when Kushina saw it, even though Naruto wasn't even home at the time because he was running from a mob. When he got home, Kushina yelled at him for what Menma did and sent him to his room, telling him not to come out until the next day. When Naruto tried to argue that he didn't do it, his mother hit him. Flashback. Naruto stared at his mother in shock as she hit him and held his face in her hand. He was still trying to figure out what had just happened. Kushina glared at Naruto and said, "Don't talk back to your Ka-san. Now go to your room and don't even think about coming down." "She really hit me," Naruto said. He thought his parents had yelled at him before, but never hit him. Naruto's eyes soon turned ice cold, and he lost all expression on his face. "Yes, Ka-sama," Naruto said coldly, startling Kushina a little. As Naruto walked up the stairs, he saw Menma smirk at him, which made him narrow his eyes. "Enjoy yourself while you can, dear brother, because one day I will make you beg for forgiveness at my feet." Naruto thought in a dark way, "I won't show mercy." Flashback is over. Since then, Naruto only talks to his parents when he has to. He only says what he has to and calls them Ka-sama and Tu-sama, even though he no longer thinks of them as his parents. After that, Naruto also started training on his own. He didn't even try to ask his parents to train him with him. Everyone, except for 2 people, found him less friendly. He no longer cared what the villagers thought of him or how his family felt about him. Another thing that made him different from his brothers was that, while Arashi and Menma were loud and brash and liked to be the center of attention by wearing bright clothes, Naruto was cold, distant, and stayed in the shadows by wearing dark clothes. Not only did the 3 boys have different personalities, but they also looked different. Menma had Minato's spiky blonde hair and blue eyes, while Arashi had Kushina's red hair and lighter blue eyes. Naruto, on the other hand, had spiky black hair and dark blue eyes that were almost black. His hair used to be blonde, but he dyed it black to get away from his family. All 3 had whisker marks, which was the only thing they had in common. Naruto suddenly heard footsteps coming closer. When he turned around, he saw a 6-year-old girl with long red hair and pigtails, bright purple eyes, and a white sundress. He smiled warmly at her. The girl looked around for a while before she saw Naruto smiling happily in a tree. "Nai-san," yelled the girl. Naruto jumped down from his perch and landed in front of the girl. She wrapped her arms around him right away. Naruto said, "Hey, Rumi-chan," and rubbed the girl's head. This was Naruto's little sister Narumi Namikaze, who is also one of the two people he cares about most. When Naruto found out he was going to have a new brother or sister, he was angry. He thought he was going to be passed over again. But when he saw Narumi, this tiny little thing, he stopped being mad at her. He swore that no matter what, he would always be there for his precious Imato. Can we go play, Nai-san? Narumi asked with a cute tilt of her head. Naruto smiled sadly. Sorry, Rumi-chan, I have to go meet Satsuki soon, Naruto said, and Narumi looked sad. Then Narumi yelled when Naruto poked her in the head and smiled at her. Maybe next time, Narumi-chan, Naruto said. Narumi nodded and hugged Naruto once more. Happy birthday, Nai-san, said Narumi as she ran away. Naruto thought, oh yeah, it's my birthday. It was his, Arashi's, and Menma's 10th birthday, so he had to leave quickly because he always got attacked by a mob on this night, and he didn't want to be around sheep kissing the backsides of his brothers. Later, Naruto sat in a clearing behind the Hokage monument and looked up at the full moon. Soon, he heard rustling in the bushes, and when he looked, he saw a girl his age come out and brush off some leaves. The girl wore white shorts, a navy blue high-collared shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the back, and blue kunoichi sandals. Her waist-length black hair had a blue tint, and her eyes were black as onyx. Naruto said, Satsuki-chan, and gave her a two-finger salute. Oh, you're already here. Sorry if I kept you waiting, Satsuki said. Naruto waved it away. It's fine, I haven't been waiting that long, Naruto said as he looked at the girl with a small smile. Naruto's best friend and first friend is Satsuki Uchiha. They met 3 years ago when she saw him working out by himself. After that, whenever they could, they trained together. Satsuki even had him over to her house a few times. Her mother, Mikoto, was a nice woman who always asked Naruto how he was doing and oversaw his and Satsuki's training. Naruto would even say that Mikoto was more of a mother to him than Kushina ever was. Her father, Fugaku, was fine, and her brother, Itachi, was fine, too, though he was a little creepy, and Naruto didn't really trust him because he was in Anbu and told Minato about it. Even so, tragedy struck 2 years later, and Itachi killed everyone in the Uchiha clan except for Satsuki. After that, Satsuki shut everyone out except Naruto, who never left her side. Even though she didn't show it, Satsuki was glad Naruto stayed with her. It also didn't help that everyone started treating her the same way they treated Naruto's brothers, but she had it worse because she was a girl. Several people were trying to get control of her because she was the heiress of the Uchiha clan, and some people on the council wanted to use her to start a new generation of Uchiha clan members. She wouldn't let that happen for anything. Satsuki thought to herself as she glanced at Naruto that she was only interested in one guy. As they sat next to Naruto, they both looked up at the moon and said nothing. Satsuki asked after a while, so, how are they? Same, I heard that the pervert and witch were going to let them sign the Toad and Slug contracts, Naruto said. Satsuki nodded, knowing that Naruto's relationship with his family wasn't the best. Then, both of them noticed something odd. Satsuki asked Naruto, is it just me, or is the moon turning red? No, I see it too, Naruto said when he suddenly felt sleepy. Oh, good, I thought it was just me, Satsuki said before she and Naruto fell asleep. While the full moon looked completely red and had 9 tomos, 3 in each of the 9 black rings around it. Moon. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes and rubbed his head. He looked around and frowned when he realized he wasn't back where he was. It was daytime, and they were in a large clearing in the woods. Then, when Satsuki woke up a short distance away, his eyes went to her. What? What just happened? Where are we? Satsuki asked. I don't know, Naruto said in the same way. A woman's voice said, I think I can answer that, which made Naruto and Satsuki turn around to find the source. They could tell that the person coming toward them was Kaguya. Who are you, and where are we? Naruto asked Satsuki as he walked up to her. Well, that's rude to make demands, but if you must know, my name is Kaguya Otsutsuki, and you're on the moon. Or at least on the inside of the moon, which is my prison, Kaguya said, making both children look doubtful. Okay, so why are we here then? Asked Satsuki as Kaguya walked around. That would be my doing, Kaguya said. I've watched you both, Naruto Uzumaki and Satsuki Uchiha, from the moment you were born. You've both been through a lot, Naruto. Your family has ignored you in favor of your brothers, who treat you like dirt. And you, Satsuki, you've lost your whole family to your own brother and are seen as nothing but a tool by people who want to take advantage of you. Well, if you know all of that, tell us why we're here, Naruto said. I'd have to start at the beginning, when I first came to this planet. To tell you that, said Kaguya. Kaguya then told Naruto and Satsuki everything that had happened since she first landed on the planet, including eating the Shinju fruit and turning into the Shinju. having sons, becoming the Shinju, and seeing everything from her prison, including Indra and Asura's never-ending fight, and the arrival of transmigrants, up to the Kyuubi attack. When she was done, Naruto put both of their ideas into one sentence. "I'm sorry, but your son is an idiot," Naruto said with a deadpan face, "who gives people the power to do just about anything and doesn't think they'll use it to kill each other better." Hagoromo gave most of the people weapons and told them not to use them to kill each other. Kaguya smiled at that, even though she knew it was true that both of her sons were naive in the way they thought. "None taken. I know my son was foolish to give humanity chakra. He thought it would help bring peace, but instead he helped sow the seeds of war, which his sons, my grandsons, continued. This is also why I wanted to talk to you both, because you two, Naruto and Satsuki, are the newest immigrants of Asura and Indra." Kaguya told them, shocking them both. "You mean to say that we have the souls of your grandsons inside us?" Satsuki was not happy to hear that a boy's soul was in her. "Yes," Kaguya replied. Naruto asked, "Then why don't we act like them? You said that all of the Asura's transmigrants wanted to bring peace and all of the Indras wanted to rule, and they all hated each other. You can thank me for that. Even though I'm stuck here, I can still control some things, like sending small amounts of my chakra into you both to keep Indra and Asura under control. If I hadn't done this, Naruto would have been a fool who forgave everyone who hurt him and was obsessed with peace, and Satsuki would have been a revenge-driven person who only cared about achieving her own goals and getting more power." Naruto replied, "Thanks, but you still haven't told us why you wanted to meet us." "I'm getting to that. You see, my world has been torn apart because of my son's stupid choices, and I'm tired of it. What I want is for you both to join me, free me, and help me reclaim all my chakra. In exchange, I will let you both keep your chakra and awaken both Indra and Asura's dormant powers within you. I will also remove any control they could have over you both." Both Naruto and Satsuki thought about it. Naruto imagined his family powerless and defeated at his feet, crushing everyone in Konoha. Satsuki imagined being even closer to killing Itachi and getting revenge for her clan. "Narumi can keep her chakra," Naruto said, refusing to do anything to hurt his sister. "Done." Kaguya agreed. "You'll turn my Sharingan into the Mangekyo," Satsuki said, because she wasn't willing to kill Naruto to wake up the Mangekyo. "Of course," Kaguya said. "And in this, we will be equals. We won't be anyone's servants or subordinates," Naruto said. "Yes, so do we have a deal?" asked Kaguya. The two of them looked at each other and nodded. "Good, now put out your strong arms," Kaguya said. So, Naruto raised his right hand, and Satsuki raised her left. Asura and Indra, when Naruto and Satsuki grabbed both of their hands, they felt power surge through them and something being erased. Then it stopped as quickly as it had started. "I have awakened your powers. You, Satsuki, now have access to your Mangekyo Sharingan. And unlike Indra, you don't have to worry about going blind from overuse. You also have the 6 paths yin power. You, Naruto, will be able to use 6 paths Sage Mode, the wood-style Kekkei Genkai, and the 6 paths yang power," Kaguya said. Naruto and Satsuki were amazed at the "What now?" Naruto asked, eager to try out his new abilities. Kaguya said, "Let's talk to your tenant Naruto now," and the scene changed to a sewer with a big cage. Behind the cage, there were 2 huge blood-red eyes looking down at the 3 people. Naruto and Satsuki both knew that this was the Kyuubi's soul, since Naruto had always known and told Satsuki. "Hello Katsumi," Kaguya said. Katsumi came out of the shadows and showed her full power, but she was noticeably smaller because she had lost all of her chakra. Then she shrunk down and changed into a teenage girl. The girl had long, crimson red hair that reached her hips. Her eyes were the same color, and she had a curvy body that was emphasized by her tight-fitting black robes with a cape that reached the floor. She also wore black boots that went up to her thighs and fingerless black gloves that reached just below her elbows. "Kaguya," Katsumi growled. "Is that how you talk to your Kasan?" Kaguya asked in a mocking tone, which surprised Naruto and Satsuki. "Don't flatter yourself, you crazy woman," Katsumi scoffed as she walked away. "Oh, too bad. I was going to offer to heal your chakra, but if you don't want to listen, I'll just reabsorb you," Kaguya said, stepping forward as Katsumi shook her head in fear. Katsumi said, wait. Let's not do anything hasty. I'll listen to what you have to say." She didn't want to be merged back into Kaguya. She didn't want to join the Jubai again because she liked being alive, even though she had been sealed away 3 times and controlled twice. "Good girl. Now, I'll restore you to full power, free you from the seal, and make it so you can never be sealed again if you stay with Naruto and Satsuki and help them with my resurrection," Kaguya said. Katsumi narrowed her eyes. "What about my brothers and sisters?" asked Katsumi. "Even though we don't always get along, we're still family. They will be sealed inside the demonic statue of the outer path to become part of me again," Kaguya said as if it was obvious. No way, I won't help unless you promise to leave them alone, Katsumi said, making Kaguya's eye twitch. Fine, as a compromise, I'll take most of your siblings' chakra, but I'll leave behind small amounts so they can replenish it over time. Letting them live, Kaguya said, since all she really needed was the tailed beast's chakra and not their souls. Katsumi reluctantly agreed, because it was better than all of them becoming Jubai again. Katsumi asked, what about me? Am I just supposed to give you my chakra when I get it back? Kaguya's delicate brow rose. I never said I'd give you your chakra back. I said I'd restore it. The chakra sealed in those two fools will be absorbed into the statue, said Kaguya. Katsumi slowly nodded, thinking it was better than losing her chakra again. Even though the old man did everything he could to seal Kaguya away, could she really turn her back on the man who made her own father? Katsumi was hesitant, and Kaguya knew it was because she was loyal to her son. Kaguya knew how to break that loyalty, though. If you're worried about betraying my son, tell me if it wouldn't be fair after all the times he betrayed you and the other tailed beasts, Kaguya said. Katsumi growled at her, wishing she wasn't locked behind the cage. The old man never betrayed us, he's the one who saved us from you and the Jubai. Katsumi snarled. Are you sure he had good intentions and that you didn't just trade one cage for another? Kaguya asked. Think about it, Katsumi. Hagoromo kept the Jubai locked up inside him until the end of his life, after he had already given chakra to everyone. After both Asura and Indra were grown men strong enough to control the tailed beasts with the Sharingan and Wood style. Now look at how you're all trapped and treated like nothing but objects and weapons by the same people Hagoromo gave chakra to. Stop, please just stop, Katsumi said pleadingly. Even though she wanted to say that Kaguya was wrong, everything she said made sense. Hagoromo could have found a way to keep them from being sealed away, but instead he taught humans how to use chakra and let them go, giving his sons the power to control them and their transmigrants the power to control them and turn them into weapons. Kaguya knelt down and put her hands on Katsumi's shoulders as she walked into the cage. Join us, Katsumi, and none of the tailed beasts will ever have to worry about being locked up or controlled again. They will be free, and no one will ever again be able to use chakra against you, Kaguya told her. Katsumi nodded and looked at her. Yes, I'll help free you, Kaguya, said Katsumi. But there's one more thing, I have to kill the masked man who controlled me. Naruto reminded them that he and Satsuki were there by saying, get in line, sweetheart. If anyone is going to tear that jerk apart, it's going to be me. When the time comes, both of you will be able to get back at the masked fool. But for now, Katsumi, I will restore your full power, Kaguya said as she sent her chakra into Katsumi. Katsumi felt her power come back right away, which made her grin meanly at being back to full strength, while the seal that had kept her locked away broke. It's done, you're free now, and all your chakra is back, Kaguya said as she stood up. Satsuki crossed her arms and asked, so, what do we do now? Now, go back to your bodies and train your new powers. Collect the chakra from the tailed beasts and seal it in the demonic statue. Then we'll be able to strip humans of chakra, Kaguya said as Naruto and Satsuki started to fade, showing they were coming back to consciousness. Don't tell anyone about this meeting or your new powers, Kaguya said seriously, knowing that the wrong people would eventually find out. With a nod, Naruto and Satsuki both disappeared. The real world. When Naruto opened his eyes, he and Satsuki were back in the clearing. Naruto asked himself, was it all just a dream? I'm not sure about that, Satsuki said as she looked at her hand. Why is that? Naruto asked. In response, Satsuki showed him a black crescent moon on her left palm and activated her Sharingan by sending chakra into her eyes. Her Sharingan had 3 tomos at first, but then it changed into 3 ellipses that crossed each other. Naruto was shocked when he looked at his right hand and saw a white sun. I wonder, Naruto thought, remembering that Kaguya had told him she had brought out his wood style. Naruto put his hand on the ground and sent chakra through it, which made a few flowers grow. Alright, that's cool, Naruto said with a smirk. He wanted to tell his family that he was related to the Shodaime Hokage before he used it to lock Menma and Arashi in a cage. But he knew he couldn't do it without answering questions he didn't want to answer. Don't get a big head, boy, said a woman, who got both of their attention. When they looked, they saw a young fox with red eyes sitting nearby. Katsumi, Naruto said, Katsumi rolling her eyes. Katsumi jumped on Naruto's shoulder and said, who else would it be? It's me, boy. Katsumi said to Satsuki with a growl, don't get any ideas, boy. I just like you better than the Uchiha. She didn't care if she knew the boy or not. 2 Uchiha had already taken control of her, and she wouldn't let it happen a 3rd time. I guess that means we have to train now, Satsuki said. Yeah, I wish I could show Menma and Arashi just to see the fear in their eyes when they see I have the power now, Naruto said with a sadistic gleam in his eyes. Satsuki told Naruto, well, try to keep yourself in check. You'll get your chance eventually. For now, just be patient. Naruto reluctantly agreed. Fine, but we should probably go. We'll start training tomorrow, Naruto said, and Satsuki nodded in agreement. No one in the elemental countries could have known what happened that night would lead to, because that one meeting was the first step toward the end. The end of the time of the shinobi. Since Naruto and Satsuki met Kaguya 4 years ago, they have been training in secret to master their new powers. Satsuki was able to do it easily because she could use the Uchiha clan's jutsu library and the scrolls on the Mangekyo Sharingan to find out what powers it gave her. But scrolls could only get her so far, and the only people she knew who had awakened the Mangekyo were her cousin Shisui Uchiha and her brother Itachi. Shisui was dead, and Satsuki was planning to kill Itachi. Even though she wouldn't go blind from using her Mangekyo too much, it still made her eyes tired and made her temporarily lose her bearings. Naruto, on the other hand, had it harder because he couldn't go to the jutsu library of his own family because it was too dangerous, and the library didn't have any scrolls on the wood style. Breaking into the Senju compound was a simple way to solve the problem, since Tsunade, the only living Senju, did not live there. But Naruto learned quickly that he had to master water style and earth style, the two elements that made up wood style, before he could learn wood style. In addition to training, they had to find the other Jinchuriki and the demonic statue, which was no longer in the moon. This meant that someone with the Rinnegan had managed to call it there. With so much to do, you might think it would take years to even get close to mastering all of these skills, if it weren't for a jutsu that Naruto learned while sneaking into the Senju compound, which was made by the Nidaime Hokage, shadow cloning technique. After seeing his brother's wood clone jutsu, Tobirama made this jutsu. It makes physical copies of the user, and each copy has the same amount of chakra as the original. The clones can fight and use jutsu, but one good hit will make them disappear. But what really got Naruto's attention was the Shadow Clone Jutsu's other ability. Anything a clone learns or experiences is transferred back to the original. So, if someone made one clone and both it and the original trained for an hour, the clone would make it feel like the person trained for 2 hours. With shadow clones, Naruto and Satsuki could train for only a few months instead of years. It took them a few hours to learn how to use Shadow Clone Jutsu. Once they did, they were able to make clones to help them train, but they soon found out there was a limit to how many they could make. Naruto already had a lot of chakra because he was in Uzumaki, and with Katsumi's chakra, he could make more than 1,000 clones. With the power Kaguya gave him, he could make over 2,500 clones. Satsuki, on the other hand, could only make 10 clones, even though she had more chakra than most people. With the help of Kaguya, she was able to make 50. So, Naruto and Satsuki went to their training grounds every day and made as many shadow clones as they could and put them to work. For Naruto, he had 500 clones work on Taijutsu, 500 on chakra control, 500 on calligraphy and Fuinjutsu, 500 on awakening the 6 paths sage mode, 300 to start mastering Naruto's 3 basic elements of water, earth, and wind, and 200 to find the other Jinchuriki and the demonic statue in the elemental countries. Satsuki, meanwhile, put her clones into 5 groups of 10. The first 10 worked on increasing her chakra pools, the second 10 worked on Taijutsu, the third 10 worked on refining the few jutsus she already knew, the fourth 10 worked on mastering her 2 elements of fire and lightning, and the last 10 worked on mastering her Sharingan. Just because her Sharingan was fully unlocked didn't mean she knew how to use it. Itachi had. The real Naruto and Satsuki worked on getting stronger, faster, and more agile, while the shadow clones sent back everything they learned and did that wasn't related to their bodies. Once his clones were good enough at Fuinjutsu, Naruto put gravity seals on himself and Satsuki. Each seal was set to 5 times gravity, so when the seals were broken, the clones would be able to move much faster. Whenever the clones got used to the seals, Naruto would increase them by 1. Naruto also got better at using his 6-path sage mode, though he couldn't hold on to the cloak for long because it was hard on his body. While Satsuki made progress with her Mangekyo abilities, she had a special affinity for Amaterasu, which she could shape and control in her own unique blaze style. She could use the black flames as a shield, a weapon, or arrows by combining them with her own techniques and Naruto's. She could also call up Suzanu's rib cage and an arm, but it was hard for her to make them fully appear. Satsuki even stole a jutsu from Kakashi Hadake, who neither she nor Naruto liked very much. Naruto didn't like him because he was his father's student, and Satsuki didn't like him because he shamelessly reads smut in public and he had something that didn't belong. The jutsu she copied was one she very much enjoyed, the Chidori, an S-rank assassination jutsu which she has already made different variations for. Though Satsuki got her own signature jutsu with the Chidori, Naruto wanted one for himself. He stole his father's Rasengan scroll and learned and mastered the Rasengan in a week. He also made a stronger version of the Rasengan that he calls the Spiraling Ring. He also added his wind affinity to the Rasengan, which Minato, Jiraiya, and Kakashi have never been able to do. This gave him his second original. Naruto especially likes showing off his new strength during academy spars, when he brutally beat his opponents with sadistic joy. Since he had always been the one getting beat up, it was nice to be the one doing the beating for once. Even more so when the parents of the kids he hurts try to get revenge and end up in the hospital. Before Naruto accidentally told too much about his skills, Satsuki had to step in a few times, being one of the only 3 people who can calm him down. The other 2 are Narumi and Katsumi. Naruto's love of battle could get out of hand, but he could still keep his cool. Satsuki was glad for this because she didn't want Naruto's eagerness to fight to get in the way of their plans. At the moment, Naruto was sleeping in bed with Satsuki and Katsumi on top of him. But Naruto soon woke up. Naruto opened his eyes and smiled at the red and black hair that was spread across his chest. A year ago, he and Satsuki finally told each other how they felt, which was followed by a heated makeout session. A few months later, Katsumi told Satsuki that she had feelings for Naruto, and both of them agreed to share him after a lot of arguing and Naruto making sure they didn't kill each other. They've only kissed and touched, and some of them want to wait until they're older to do anything more. Naruto ran his hands along their sides, making them both moan. He would have loved to stay there forever, but he and Satsuki had to get up to go to the academy for their graduation exam. Naruto disappeared from where he was standing next to the bed when he focused. That was one of his techniques, Shunpo, which let him instantly teleport short distances like the Hurricane but didn't need a marker. Before getting dressed, Naruto went to the bathroom and took a quick shower. He wore a dark gray gi with no sleeves, a black undershirt with long sleeves and a turtleneck, a red sash, black pants, and white boots. He looked the same on the outside, but he was taller and had more muscle. His hair was still black, but it looked darker since he met Kaguya. It was still spiked up, and a single lock of hair hung over the right side of his face. Naruto went into the kitchen and started making breakfast. He knew Satsuki and Katsumi would be up soon, so he didn't wait. A year after meeting Kaguya, Naruto moved in with Satsuki in her apartment, which was big enough for all 3 of them. Only Narumi knew Naruto lived there, because she sometimes went to see her brother there. It didn't really surprise Naruto that his family hadn't even noticed his absence, because they had long since accepted that they would always care about Menma and Arashi because they had Katsumi's chakra. Naruto still looked forward to the day when he could pull all of their chakra out and make them powerless at his feet. Soon Naruto heard both Satsuki and Katsumi waking up, just in time as he finished. When he saw what they were wearing or not wearing, Naruto laughed. Satsuki put on a shirt that was 2 sizes too small for her. It was tight against her D-breasts and showed off her lacy black pants and smooth pale legs. Katsumi, on the other hand, didn't bother to put on a shirt. She was just wearing matching red lace underwear. When Katsumi saw Naruto looking at her, she smiled, leaned forward, and pushed her breasts up. Like what you see Naruto-kun, Katsumi purred. Very, Naruto said as Satsuki smiled and put her arms around his neck and kissed him on the lips. Satsuki whispered in his ear, yes, well, just a few more years and you'll see what's underneath. I'd love to keep going, but we still have to get to the academy, Naruto reminded him. Satsuki sighed when she remembered that she had spent the last 4 years at the academy with fangirls who only cared about finding a Prince Charming to save them and boys who dreamed of being shinobi. But the fanboys were the worst part for Satsuki. She lost track of how many times she had to stop herself from using Amaterasu on them. Menma and Arashi were the worst because they both thought she belonged to them. The only thing that kept her from killing them was that Naruto had already said he would kill them. Every time he saw either of them near Satsuki, it made him want to be with them more. Naruto said, hey, you think I want to be around annoying brats who think being a ninja means saving princesses and the world? I don't, but look at it this way, after today, we'll be one step closer to never seeing this village again. Satsuki nodded and went to get dressed. Her outfit was a dark gray jacket with a violet lining and dark blue edges, which she had unzipped halfway to show a dark blue crop top. The coat has dark gray short sleeves, a thick collar that goes all the way around her neck, and 2 long, rectangular tails with dark blue edges that can be taken off. She wore form-fitting black pants, a gray belt with 2 pieces of dark gray material with blue edges, one of which covered the tails of her coat. The outfit is finished off with a pair of black gloves with dark blue cuffs that reach to the middle of the forearm. Her hair was pulled back into a ponytail and curled to the left side of her face. In short, Naruto could die happy knowing that he saw this beautiful sight. Then, all three of them ate breakfast before going to the academy. Katsumi turned into a fox and jumped on Naruto's shoulder as she did so. When they got there, they sat in the back of the room to block out the noise of the other students. Not long after, the door opened again, and Menma and Arashi walked in with arrogant smiles on their faces, like they owned the place. Naruto shook his head when he saw that they were wearing jumpsuits that were blindingly bright blue and neon orange. The only thing that was missing was a flashing sign above their heads that said, "Here I am, kill me." Naruto and Satsuki both thought, I swear, how am I, Naruto-kun, related to those idiots? But what sounded like a stampede coming down the hall broke them out of their thoughts, making Satsuki groan. Soon, the door flew open, and two blurs, one pink and one blonde, rushed into the room. The blonde yelled, "Ha, I win forehead." The pink yelled, "As if pig my foot went through the door first." Then, Naruto patted Satsuki on the back to make her feel better as she kept hitting her head on the desk. The reason is that Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka, the two girls who just walked in, are two of the worst fans of Menma and Arashi and insults to real Kunoichi. When Satsuki saw them, it reminded her of when her mother would come home and rant about how fangirls are why real Kunoichi aren't taken seriously, and how it's unfair that they can become ninja. It's safe to say that Satsuki felt the same way. "No way am I going to sit with Menma-kun and Arashi-kun, you pig Ino," yelled Sakura, like they want that big forehead to get in the way of seeing me. Ino yelled, first chance, those two will die," Satsuki told herself, her eyes burning with a desire to kill the awful fangirls. Aruka Yumino, the teacher, came into the classroom after a while, and Naruto was grinning dangerously. They used to have a different teacher named Mizuki. It's too bad that he died in an accident. When Naruto saw the team staring at Satsuki, he accidentally hit him with a truth-seeking ball. Luckily, the truth-seeking balls turn anything they hit into ash, so Naruto didn't have to worry about getting rid of the body. Aruka said, "Okay, everyone, calm down," but no one listened, so she got a check mark. Aruka used his big head no jutsu to shout, "I said shut up, you little brats." Everyone stopped talking at once, which made Aruka nod. Okay, as you all know, the graduation exam is today. First, there's a written test, and then there's a practical test where you'll show how well you know substitution, transformation, and clone jutsu. "We'll start with the written test now," said Aruka before handing out the tests. The test was an hour long, and Naruto, Satsuki, and Sakura all finished at the same time. When the test was over, Aruka took the papers and went to the next test. Shino Aburame said, "When I call your name, go into the back room and show me the 3 jutsu. If you pass, you'll get your forehead protector." When Aruka's name was called, the boy went into the room and came out with a headband on his head. Aruka kept calling out students. Some came out with headbands, some didn't look down because they failed, and a few ran out crying. "Satsuki Uchiha," Aruka called. Naruto smiled at her and wished her luck, which Satsuki did the same. Satsuki said, "You too," as she walked down the stairs. "Hope we're on the same team, Satsuki-chan," Menma said as he and Arashi ogled her figure. Both of them were wearing forehead protectors, which sent shivers up her spine, and not the good kind that Naruto gives her. Naruto glared at his brothers and counted to 1,000 in his head to stop himself from ripping out their throats. Katsumi nuzzled his cheek to calm him down, and Naruto nodded to say thank you. Aruka was sitting behind a table with several headbands and a clipboard in her hands when Satsuki walked into the room. Aruka told Satsuki, "Okay, do the substitution and transformation, and then make 3 copies." Crossing her arms, Satsuki switched places with a chair without saying anything and then switched back. Next, she changed into her mother Mikoto Uchiha in her Kunoichi gear. She ended by making a half-ram seal, which made 3 shadow clones. Aruka just stood there in shock. Not only had she done substitution and transformation without hand seals, which not even Menma or Arashi, who had been trained by some of the strongest ninja in Konoha, could do, but she had also easily shown B-rank forbidden jutsu. Satsuki asked rhetorically, "So, do I pass?" Aruka gave Satsuki a headband and said, "Oh, of course, Satsuki. Here it is." She didn't catch Satsuki's sneer as she tied it around her neck. Once Satsuki left the room, Aruka called out, "Naruto Uzumaki." Naruto walked past Satsuki on his way to the room. As he did so, he heard Arashi say something. "Good luck, Otauto," Arashi sneered. Naruto didn't answer, which made his brothers mad because they wanted to get a rise out of him even though they knew they couldn't hurt him. Aruka told Naruto the same thing that the others did when she walked into the room. Haruka was surprised again when Naruto did the substitution and transformation moves without seals and then made 3 shadow clones. Haruka asked as she gave Naruto a headband that he tied around his left arm. Could Naruto and Satsuki have trained together? Later, after all of the students had taken their tests, Naruto and Satsuki left the academy, moving through the crowd of parents, who were either congratulating the kids who did well or consoling the ones who didn't. Naruto almost got to the gate, but he stopped short when he saw his parents congratulating Menma and Arashi on their graduation. Naruto no longer wants to win the love of the Namikaze family or other people like them. He thinks he just finds them sad. They are so focused on fulfilling a half-baked prophecy that an old toad made about a miracle child who would bring peace to the world. This is sad. Hey, are you okay? She asked, giving him a little shake. Yeah, I was just thinking about how crazy they all are, Naruto said. Suddenly, a red blur hit Naruto and almost knocked him down. Narumi cheered, "Nai-san, you passed. I knew you would, I just knew it." Naruto smiled and patted his sisters on the back. "Of course I passed, what did you expect?" Naruto said. Satsuki said, "What about me, Narumi-chan?" As Narumi let go of Naruto and hugged her. "I knew you'd give it to Satsuki-ni," Narumi said as she looked up and grinned widely. When Satsuki met Narumi for the first time, she knew she was hooked. Satsuki's life was pretty bad, so Narumi was a breath of fresh air. Now that she knew Naruto was good with kids, it helped. After their first meeting, Narumi had taken to calling her Satsuki-ni, which warmed the Uchiha's heart. "Nai-san, since you and Satsuki-ni are now ninja, does that mean you'll be going on missions now?" asked Narumi as she jumped on Naruto's back with her arms around his neck and Katsumi on his head. "Yes, but we won't be going on missions until we're put on a team," Naruto said. "That means I won't be able to see you as often," Narumi said in a sad voice. Satsuki said, "You know, Narumi, Naruto and I were going out to celebrate his graduation. Would you like to come?" Narumi's face lit up, and she quickly nodded. With that, the 4 of them left the academy, with Katsumi still in disguise. Next day, and here we are again, Naruto thought as he tapped on the desk with his eyes closed. Even though they both graduated, they had to work with a third person on a team led by a Jonin instructor. This meant they had to spend one more day at the academy, which was sad. Katsumi had chosen to stay home rather than join them. Haruka had already shown up and started naming the teams. Now, both of them were just waiting to find out which team they were on. Team 7, Menma Namikaze, Arashi Namikaze, and Sakura Haruno under Kakashi Headache, said Haruka. "Yeah, true love wins. In your face, Ino pig," Sakura shrieked, which annoyed Naruto and Satsuki. Naruto whispered to Satsuki, "Don't," but he didn't open his eyes. "One word, that's all it'd take, and I'd have ended that howler monkey," hissed Satsuki, her Mangekyo sharing and already activated, ready to unleash black flames on the fangirl. "As much as I'd like to see that, you do realize we'd have to leave quickly for murder, right?" Naruto asked. "So just hold back, and when the chance comes up, you can burn as many fangirls as you want." Satsuki smiled cruelly at the thought. Team 13 Naruto Uzumaki, and Satsuki Uchiha under Kushina Uzumaki, said Haruka. Naruto's eyes snap open. "What?" asked Naruto, who didn't expect this. Even though he likes being on the same team as Satsuki, he couldn't stand for his mother to be his teacher. Haruka said as she left the classroom, "Your senseis will be here soon, so chill out and wait. Congratulations on becoming a ninja of Konoha." Not long after, Kushina and 2 other Jonin instructors came in. "Team 8 with me," said the woman with red eyes. 10 with me, said the man. Kushina said, "Team 13, meet me at training ground 13. And then she ran away. Naruto and Satsuki followed with a Shunpo and a lightning Shunshin, which surprised Kushina because she didn't know they could teleport. Kushina said as she looked at her son, "Naruto, I didn't know you could use Shunshin." Naruto said, "Yeah, there's a lot you don't know about me." He said it with more bite than he meant to, which made Kushina flinch a little. "Anyway, let's start by getting to know each other's likes, dislikes, and hobbies. I'll go first. My likes are ramen, pranking, training, and my family, and my dislikes are traitors, a certain masked team, and boring people. My hobbies are trading, pranking, and spending time with my family." "Naruto, you're up next." Naruto told Kushina, "My likes are training, Satsuki-chan, Narumi-chan, and Katsumi-chan. My dislikes are a masked team, weaklings, and 2 annoying pests. My hobbies are training and spending time with Satsuki-chan, Katsumi-chan, and Narumi-chan." Kushina nodded. "Okay, Satsuki, you next." Kushina said, "I like the same things as Naruto-kun. I don't like a certain man, loudmouth losers, the color orange, and weaklings, and my hobby is training," Satsuki said. Okay, now usually this is where I'd tell you that you aren't really genin and that you have to pass a secret test and blah, blah, blah. That all sounds rather boring. So instead, congratulations, we're officially Team 13, said Kushina, Satsuki sweating and Naruto's eye twitching. Satsuki thought, this is the woman Kasen said was one of the deadliest kunoichi alive. Naruto thought to himself, I can see where Menma and Arashi get their childish personalities. Does that mean they got their big heads from Namikaze? Okay, Team 13, let's go get our first mission. Kushina shouted as the three of them walked to the Hokage's office, jolting them out of their thoughts. Time skip 3 weeks. Since Naruto and Satsuki joined Team 13 under Kushina 3 weeks ago, they have been on several missions. Kushina's refusal to do D-rank missions, or what they called chores people are too lazy to do themselves, was something they could both be thankful for. Really, they are ninjas who have been trained to kill, not watch over kids or walk dogs. So, they did mostly C-rank missions, which were usually to protect or kill bandits. When they weren't on missions, they had to train or fight with Kushina. Naruto and Satsuki didn't like training with Kushina because they had to hold back their full power so they wouldn't show how strong they really were. They were on their way to the Hokage's office to get their next mission. When they went in, they saw that Minato had a lot of papers on his desk. Minato-kun, are you ready for your next mission? Asked Kushina. Oh, Team 13, I was just about to call you anyway. Recently, Team 7 took their first C-rank mission to the Land of Waves, but the client lied about the mission's rank. During the journey, they ran into Zabuza Mamachi, but Kakashi was able to defeat him before a hunter nin showed up and took the body. Kakashi thinks the hunter nin was Zabuza's partner, so he has asked for another team to be. Kushina turned to her students and said, Hi, we'll leave right away. Okay, team, meet at the gates in an hour after you've packed everything you'll need for this mission. Kushina, Naruto, and Satsuki said as they nodded and teleported away to pack. Even though Naruto only spent a short time at Anbu headquarters, he managed to sneak into the room where they keep track of all the Anbu members and the missions they have done. Where are you, Anbu Weasel? Aha, there you are, thought Naruto as he grabbed the file. Opening the reports, Naruto flipped through them until he got to the last one, which was about the last mission Anbu Weasel, also known as Itachi Uchiha, did before he went bad. The Uchiha clan was wiped out. The more Naruto heard, the wider his eyes got. The Uchiha clan was planning a coup to take over the village, and Itachi was acting as the Hokage's spy. In the end, Itachi agreed to kill the Uchiha clan as long as Satsuki wasn't hurt. Itachi gave up everything to protect his little sister and keep Konoha from falling into a civil war that would likely lead to the Fourth Shinobi War. Naruto locked the file away because he knew he'd have to show it to Satsuki because she deserved to know why her family was taken away. Later gates. Kushina was already waiting for Naruto and Satsuki when they got to the gate. Alright, team, let's go, Kushina said. Right away, all three of them started running toward Wave Country. Naruto and Satsuki looked at each other and nodded, knowing that now was the best time to put their plan into action. Naruto and Satsuki looked around the Land of Waves and saw that it was in bad shape and that many people were walking around. Kushina said, It's sad to see these people suffer like this because of a tyrant, isn't it? Satsuki was humming to herself with her arms crossed behind her back, and Naruto didn't say anything. After a while, they got to the house of the bridge builder, Tezuna, where Team 7 was supposed to be. The three of them knocked on the door and waited a few seconds before a middle-aged woman opened it. Yes, asked the woman. Hello, we're the backup team that was sent to help Team 7, Kushina said. The woman got a look of understanding. Oh, right, Kakashi did say that another team would be coming. Please come in, I'm Tsunami, Tezuna's daughter, Tsunami said as she moved aside to let them in. My name is Kushina Uzumaki, and these are my students Satsuki Uchiha and my son Naruto Uzumaki, said Kushina. When Naruto heard her call him her son, he laughed. Naruto said, Let's get this over with, as he brushed past Kushina and Tsunami. Naruto saw Menma, Arashi, Sakura, and Kakashi sitting around when he went into the living room. Naruto said, Oh, how the great have fallen, when he saw Kakashi on crutches and Menma and Arashi looking a little worse for wear. When he said that, they all looked at him. His brothers and Sakura glared at him, but Kakashi just gave him a quick glance before going back to his book. Menma asked Kushina and Satsuki, who were walking in, What are you doing here, loser? We're the team sent to help you, Sachai, Kushina said, and the two laughed at Naruto. Well, you can help Kasan, but the loser will just get in the way. Don't worry, Tsuki-chan, we'll protect you, Arashi said while looking Satsuki up and down. Naruto got mad at them because they were staring openly at his girlfriend. Even though he didn't care what they thought of him, Naruto was still angry that these weaklings looked down on him. Yet you needed another team to help you. So much for the sons of the great Yondaime. I guess all that training was for nothing, Naruto teased, making Menma and Arashi's faces turn red. Kushina scolded Naruto, "Stop making trouble for your brothers." Naruto looked at her out of the corner of his eye, then turned on his heel and ran out of the house. Satsuki followed him, worried that nothing good would happen if Naruto went off on his own. Satsuki found Naruto in the forest, where he was destroying trees by knocking them over, throwing them into the air, and breaking them. As he threw another one into the air, Naruto's right hand was surrounded by purple chakra. Then, a purple blade made of pure chakra shot out of his hand, pierced the tree, and cut through it. But just as quickly, the blade was gone, and Naruto fell to his knees, holding his burned and shaking hand. "You idiot," Satsuki said, running over to him. "Why did you do that? You know you're not strong enough to make an energy blade like that right now." Satsuki admonished. "I was thinking that for the past 4 years, I've had to stop myself from just ripping those worthless bugs apart." Naruto glared at Satsuki with a murderous look that made her jump back. She knew Naruto hated his brothers, which was different from how she felt about Itachi. She used to love and look up to Itachi, but after he killed their parents and killed most of their clan, she turned from loving him to hating him and wanting revenge. But Naruto had always been second to his brothers and used by them as a punching bag. There was never any love between the three of them as brothers and sisters, only hatred. Satsuki wouldn't say it out loud, but she was always afraid of what Naruto would turn into if he let his hatred control him and no one was there to stop him. "I don't think anyone could stop him," Satsuki grimly thought. Naruto looked at his hand and saw that it was fully healed, but it was still shaking a little. He clenched his fist and took a deep breath, willing the shaking to stop. "I'm good now," Naruto said as he stood up, but Satsuki grabbed his hand and stopped him. "No, let me see," Satsuki said. "I said I'm leaving," Naruto started, but Satsuki cut him off with a warning look. "You're lucky to be able to feel your hand at all. When you use the advanced version of the God Split Cut, you know it's dangerous," Satsuki said as her hand started to glow green. The God Split Cut is another one of Naruto's original techniques. The idea was to coat his hand in a field of chakra to make it a powerful blade. It took Naruto months to get it right, but when he did, it was sharp enough to cut through a boulder. He even taught it to Satsuki to see if she could improve on it. But Naruto didn't stop there. He wanted to make even stronger versions. So far, he's only been able to make the violent fierce God Slicer, a blade made of pure energy that was stronger than the God Split Cut and kept his opponents at a safe distance. Naruto's body can't handle the power, so Satsuki made him promise to only use it as a last resort, at least until he can find a way to use it without hurting his hand. Soon, Satsuki was done healing his hand. She had learned basic medical ninjutsu because she thought it would be good for one of them to know it. Satsuki told her, "There, you're lucky it wasn't anything permanent." Naruto didn't say anything. He just stared at Satsuki intently. When Satsuki looked up, she met Naruto's eyes. For a few moments, they just looked at each other. After a few moments, Naruto raised his hand, grabbed a strand of Satsuki's hair that fell in front of her face, and brushed it behind her ear. Satsuki said with a slight blush. She wasn't used to Naruto acting that way. "Before we left Konoha, I found something you should know about," Naruto said suddenly as he took out the file he had brought with him. When Satsuki looked at the file and saw that it was Anbu Weasel's mission file, she felt a sense of dread come over her. When she turned back to Naruto, the look on his face only made her feel worse. 5 days have passed. Naruto sped past some thugs with his God Split Cut active. When he turned to them, blood exploded out of their chests, and they fell over dead. All around Naruto were dozens of bodies with the same injuries. These were Gado's hired help, and Naruto had taken care of them all while Satsuki went to deal with Zabuza, his partner, Gado, and anyone else who got in her way. After Satsuki read the file Naruto gave her, she became so calm that it was scary. Naruto had expected her to get angry or sad when she found out what happened to her family, but instead she just stayed calm and didn't react to anything. Until that little jerk had to say something, Naruto thought with a frown. Flashback. After taking turns guarding Tazuna, the bridge, and his family, everyone was sitting at the table in Tazuna's house. Menma and Arashi were talking animatedly with their mother, Sakura was swooning over Menma and Arashi, Kakashi was reading his smut while eating without taking off his mask, and Naruto and Satsuki just ate in silence. "What's the point?" Inari asked the ninja as he looked at him. Kakashi looked up from his book and said, "What's the point? No one can beat Gado, not even you. You all come here and act like you know something about suffering, but you don't. You all live nice and easy lives in your village. None of you have ever been in pain. So why don't you all just leave before you all die?" Inari yelled. Before anyone could react or say anything, Satsuki grabbed Inari by the throat and slammed him against the wall. Her Manjikayo Sharingan was blazing in her eyes as she looked at him. Little brats like you need to learn to shut up. Jinjutsu, endless nightmare, Satsuki said, casting the Jinjutsu. In less than a second, the boy screamed in pain and fell to the ground. Satsuki carelessly dropped the boy and then gave Tsunami and Tezuna a look that froze them in place. Satsuki said, "Teach your brat to keep his mouth shut, or I'll do worse than just trap him in a nightmare world." Before anyone could say anything, she disappeared in a flash of lightning. Flashback is over. The Jinjutsu she used wasn't too dangerous. It just put Inari in a nightmare world where he felt all the pain and suffering Naruto and Satsuki went through. It was kind of like a weaker version of Tsukuyomi, where it feels like years in the Jinjutsu but only a second passes in the real world. However, it doesn't leave the victim in a coma, they're just unconscious for a few days, and Naruto shook off those thoughts for now and grabbed two bodies that were mostly still together. He took out two sealing tags and put them on the back of the necks of the bodies. Naruto then watched as the corpses began to change before his eyes. In just a few minutes, the bodies of two of Gado's goons were gone, and in their place were his and Satsuki's dead bodies. They were exactly the same, right down to their clothes, and the best part was that any tests done on the bodies would show that they were indeed his and Satsuki's. "I see you're done," Satsuki said as she dragged Zabuza behind her and walked up to him with his sword. "I'm done now. He's not dead," Naruto said when he saw that Zabuza had no wounds. "His body is still alive, but his mind." Satsuki trailed off with a shrug, and Naruto nodded when he saw that Zabuza's eyes were glassy. His partner, "I'm sure I left enough pieces for them to be recognized," Satsuki said indifferently. Unlike Naruto, Satsuki didn't find it sadistic to kill her opponents. The only people she'll enjoy killing are Itachi and anyone else involved with her clan's near extinction. Satsuki now knew why Itachi killed their clan, but that didn't make her feel any better about it. If the Uchiha had started a coup, it would have caused trouble all over Konoha and could have led to the Fourth Shinobi War. But that didn't mean she didn't think there was a better way than killing them all. Satsuki only wanted to look Itachi in the eye and find out who helped him kill their clan. Then she would put a Chidori through his heart. Nodding, Naruto took out another seal and put it on Zabuza's chest. This one was a modified explosive seal. In the meantime, Satsuki used Kubikirabucho to cut at the fake corpses to make it look like they were killed by Zabuza. "Ready?" Naruto asked. Satsuki nodded as she stabbed the Zenbato into the ground. Naruto put his arm around Satsuki's waist and jumped into the air. Even though he couldn't use Six-Path Sage mode, he could still use some of its abilities, like flight. When they were high enough in the air, they both looked down at Gado's compound. Without saying a word, Naruto made a half-ram seal, which set off the explosive tag he had put on Zabuza. The effect was immediate, and the entire compound and all the bodies were burned up in a huge fireball that destroyed everything it hit. Naruto said this about the Konoha ninja that should get their attention. "Let's get going. We have a lot to do, like find the other Jinchuriki, find the person who called forth the Jido Mazo, and tell whoever has the Rinnegan to keep calling forth the Jido Mazo." Satsuki listed the things they had to do. Take things one at a time. Naruto, who wanted to focus on one thing at a time, suggested that they find a way to trap the tailed beasts in something until they could find the statue. "Very well. I also think it would be smart to catch the Jinchuriki whose villages don't like them. If they aren't liked, it will be easier to take them and not worry about what will happen. Then the Jinchuriki in Suna, Iwa, and Taki are your best bet. Either those villages don't care about their Jinchuriki or they only use them as weapons. It's best to stay away from the Jinchuriki in Kumo because they're not only liked, but the Hachibi's Jinchuriki is the Raikage's brother and can transform into a full-tailed beast," Katsumi said from inside the seal. Even though she was free, she could still freely enter and leave Naruto's mind, having learned about the living conditions by listening in on Kushina and Minato's conversations. Sometimes it was helpful that her previous host was the wife of a Kage, because you never know what you'll learn. Naruto grunted in irritation when he got to the last part. He would have loved to fight a fully developed Jinchuriki, but he knew his limits and wasn't going to fight someone who could kill him. Satsuki thought for a moment and then said, "It would be best to go after the Jinchuriki in Suna and Taki, since those villages only have one each and Iwa has two." "Alright, but first, we need something to keep the tailed beasts locked up when we get them out," Naruto said. Shukaku could be sealed into something, but the Nanabi needed something stronger to hold it. Katsumi spoke up and said, "I might have an idea." "What is it?" Naruto asked himself. The sage left behind one of his most valuable tools, the amber purifying pot. It can record the voice of anyone who talks back to the person holding it. If you can get the Jinchuriki or my siblings to talk back to you, you can lock them in the pot until you get the Jido Mazo," Katsumi said. Great, where is it? Naruto asked. Kumo, said Katsumi, who looked away and started whistling innocently. Naruto's face went blank, and one of his eyes started to twitch. Naruto thought, of course it is. Naruto told Satsuki what Katsumi had told him, and Satsuki cursed in her head that one of the best places to catch the tailed beasts might be in the one village they were trying to stay away from until they were stronger. Naruto said, how about we focus on getting stronger for now, and if we come across a Jinchuriki, we'll catch them and figure out what to do from there. I think that would be best for now, Satsuki agreed. Even though they're both strong, compared to people who are cage level or higher, they're still weak. Naruto could only hold his six-path Sage mode for a few moments before he had to release it, and he still needed to practice more mastering wood style before it was strong enough to control a tailed beast. He's also still working on a few jutsu he wants to improve, like adding his other elements to his Rasen Shuriken and making a. Satsuki, on the other hand, needed more practice with her Manjikayo. Even though she didn't have to worry about going blind, they still hurt her eyes. She could use Amaterasu easily, being able to summon, extinguish, and control the black flames. Susanoo, on the other hand, was still hard to summon fully. So far, she's only been able to summon the basic upper skeleton. If she wanted to fight bigger opponents, she'd. Both of them knew they had to do a lot of work. 4 days pass, and Konoha appears. When the door to Minato's office opened, Kushina, Menma, and Arashi were there. Minato looked up and saw that Kushina looked like she had been crying recently. Kushina, you've already come back. Why are you on Menma and Arashi's team when they should be on their own? Where are all of your students? Minato asked with a frown. Kushina looked like she was about to cry again, while Menma and Arashi laughed. The fool got himself killed trying to fight Zabuza, Menma said with a sneer. He had to take Satsuki with him, Arashi said with a scowl, and Satsuki died because of it. What? Said a quiet voice that got the attention of the fours. When they looked, they saw Narumi in the doorway, and Naruto Nyan saw Satsuki ni are dead. Narumi looked at her Kasan and begged her to tell her it wasn't true. Sad to say, her other brothers made her lose hope. Arashi said cruelly, that's right, brat. The loser finally did us all a favor and killed himself. Yeah, now we don't have to deal with that waste of space anymore, said Menma. Neither boy cared if they hurt their sister with their words because they didn't like how their sister stole the attention that should have been theirs. Every mean thing Menma and Arashi said made Narumi's eyes fill with tears. Naruto and Satsuki were dead, gone, and she would never see them again. It didn't help that Menma and Arashi kept making fun of Naruto, so she covered her ears to try to block them out. But it didn't work. She couldn't forget what she had just heard. Menma and Arashi were making fun of Naruto when Narumi let out a loud piercing scream. At the same time, dozens of golden chains shot out of her back and stabbed into Menma and Arashi's arms, legs, sides, and every other non-lethal part of their bodies. 2 chains stabbed both boys between their legs, cutting away what made them both male. Both boys screamed in pain as they were stabbed by the chains. Meanwhile, Minato and Kushina came out of their shock at seeing their daughter use her adamantine sealing chains and tried to stop. But they were soon held back by the chains as well, though they didn't pierce them like they did Menma and Arashi. They couldn't get away because their chakra was quickly shut down, and they knew it was pointless to try to break the chains, which were strong enough to hold the Kyuubi. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Narumi yelled, staring at them all with teary eyes. You're to blame. Narumi told her mom and dad. The Isan wouldn't be gone if you had just trained him. But you didn't care about them. You only cared about them, Narumi said angrily to Menma and Arashi, who were turning blue from lack of air. All because of a stupid prediction made by a stupid old toad who always smokes, Narumi said, recalling what Naruto had told her about why their parents paid so much attention to Menma and Arashi. Well, he's gone now. You're to blame for my brother leaving. Narumi screamed, and her chains swung wildly. And Narumi, sweetie, just calm down, and Minato began, but was cut off. No, you are no longer my parents, and they've never been my brothers. I only have one brother and one sister, but you killed them. I hate you, Narumi yelled as she ran out of the office, freeing the Namikaze family from their chains. Menma and Arashi fell to the ground unconscious from lack of air and blood loss from their injuries. Minato quickly went to check on his sons and get them to the hospital. Kushina, meanwhile, was crying because she had lost both her son, whom she had neglected, and her only daughter. She was to blame for everything. With Narumi, as soon as she got out of the office, she went to the Forest of Death to calm down. How dare they, her old brothers, not care that Naruto and Setsuki are dead? She asked herself after showing her family what she can really do, until Narumi heard Anko's voice calling her name. Hey, what are you doing in this forest at night for a girl like you? Anko asked Narumi. Narumi told her, I'm just trying to cool down. Why? Anko asked her, as Narumi told Anko about Naruto and Satsuki's deaths and how she disowned her family. Her brothers said they were glad Naruto died but angry that Satsuki did. Anko was very angry that she had changed into her level 2 curse seal mode without knowing it. This scared Narumi a little until she saw her scaly hands, so she tried to stop it until she went back to normal. Take it easy, Anko. When she saw Narumi crying, she told herself, don't give in. She knew that her family would do that because the Uzumaki Creed says that family comes first. Anko tries to comfort Narumi by saying, There, Narumi, even though she hasn't worked with children before because she was Orochimaru's apprentice. She picks up Narumi, who has fallen asleep, and carries her to her home to rest. The next morning, Narumi woke up in a bed she didn't know, and she could smell that Anko was making breakfast. Finally you woke up, since you were crying in your sleep, Anko told Narumi as she ate her breakfast. Narumi told her, sorry for the trouble, and thanks for letting me sleep here. Anko told her, it's no problem at all, brat, as Narumi kept eating. When you're done eating, I'll walk you to school, alright, Anko said, and Narumi nodded. Luckily, she had put her personal things in a storage seal in case anything happened. The school. Anko drops off Narumi and says goodbye to her. As she gets herself together, she goes into the classroom and sits next to Konohamaru, who is the grandson of Hiruzen Sarutobi, the former 3rd Hokage. Hey Narumi, Konohamaru greet his friend. Oh, hi, Maru, Narumi said. She told him the name she gave him because she doesn't like saying Konoha. As she looked toward the door, she saw Menma, Arashi, Sakura, and Kakashi going to the Hokage's office for another mission. She laughed until she saw Narumi. Where were you, Naruto? We looked everywhere for you, Kushina told her in a scary way. She just said, I was at a friend's house, making it clear that she was annoyed by her presence. Kushina told her daughter, Narumi, come on, we're having sushi, which is your favorite food. No, she said again with no emotion. What? Kushina asked. What part of disowning you guys didn't you get? The only people I had as family are dead, and I don't want to see you ever again, you horrible mother. Narumi yelled at Kushina, whose hair stood up like 9 snakes. Don't you dare call me a bad mother. Kushina yelled until Narumi used her sealing chains on her to stop her chakra. Of course you are. What kind of mom would hit her kid for something he didn't do while letting his brother off the hook? What kind of mother would ignore their other child because of a fucking prophecy made by a pervert whose fan reads porn in front of children? You make the Uzumaki clan look bad. Kushina, don't you remember the creed? Again, what was it? Oh, I see. Family comes first. You are just as bad as Tsunade, who is our grandma on your side of the family. She makes Dan and Nawaki roll in their graves for ignoring Naruto, and now Naruto and Satsuki are dead because you never trained him. She said to Kushina in anger as she threw Kushina out of the classroom. Aruka and her classmates, except for 3, were looking at her in fear. Konohamaru said, I think I'm in love, as he looked at Narumi and blushed while Mogi and Udon stared at him. In the meantime, Naruto. Naruto is getting a beating from Katsumi right now, while Satsuki is eating out of his hand. He stopped eating her up and sneezed. Satsuki was annoyed and angry that Naruto had stopped. Why did you stop? We can't have you getting sick now that we're in the middle of something, she said. All of a sudden, I want to kill someone, he said. Who cares? Go back to licking, Naruto said, and then he went back to licking her pussy. Elsewhere, Kaguya was feeling jealous and left out as she watched Naruto, Katsumi, and Satsuki make out. She asked her mother, are you jealous of those 2 girls? A black plant in an Akatsuki robe was questioned. Don't be a fool, Zetsu, Kaguya said, her voice cracking slightly but not much. The mysterious figure heard her, and Kaguya flew away, thinking, his dick is 3 times bigger than Tenji's. She thought this while her nose was bleeding a little. It looks like I'll have a new father soon. Yes, a father who has balls and can kill someone. Shut up, you, said the mysterious figure to himself as he went into the ground and a certain Uchiha wearing an orange mask left the scene. Somewhere else Kiri, nee Terumi Uzumaki, who is a quarter Uzumaki, is leading the rebellion against Yagura Karatachi, the 4th Mizukage, and the Jinchuriki of the coral user Sanbai, a 3 shrimp-tailed crab-turtle hybrid with the weakest will of all the tailed beasts. Nee sneezed because he saw someone having the time of his life and heard Ao say the usual when I was younger crap. Mei said, Ow, stop talking or die, while he screamed like a child. Wave Country is a song. Naruto and Haku, who had just come back to life, said to Satsuki, let's see, the first place we need to go is Taki. Even though Katsumi is sealed, she can still feel emotions from outside the seal. This is especially true for Naruto's great-great-grandmother, Mito Uzumaki, also known as Goofball Hashirama Senju, the last transmigrant of Asura Otsutsuki's wife, who almost succeeded in making peace with Indra Otsutsuki's transmigrant and Satsuki's great-great-grandpa from Makoto's side. While Katsumi was sealed inside Mito, she could always hear what was going on outside. When Mito learned to sense negative emotions, it gave Katsumi a little bit of freedom inside the seal. This was especially helpful when Mito was helping Tobirama make his most famous jutsus, like the Flying Thunder God, Sheodwa clones based on Hashirama's wood clones, and the most dangerous and powerful of all, Impure World Resurrection, a technique that can bring people back to life if you have some of their DNA and sacrifice a body. The best part is that the revived person is immune to genjutsu, has unlimited chakra, doesn't need to eat or drink, and can be controlled. Katsumi told Naruto that Hakuyuki was the last member of the Yuki clan of Kiri, and a former apprentice of Zabuza of the Bloody Mist. When Naruto heard this, he was excited, so the first thing he did was use the blood of Hakuyuki, the last member of the Yuki clan of Kiri, and a former apprentice of Zabuza of the Bloody Mist, to bring a shadow clone to life. He then used a. Katsumi said to Naruto, Tobirama may have made this jutsu, but now that Haku is at full power, you can control her whenever you want, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled at Haku. Why did you wake me up again? Haku asked in a feminine voice. Naruto gave her Kubikirabacho and told her, you have potential, and I can tell that you hate the shinobi system just like us. You are the last of your clan, and Konoha Nin killed Zabuza, but I couldn't bring him back because I couldn't find his body. You can also get back at the Mist for killing your clan, Satsuki told her, and Haku nodded. Now that they are their new masters, Satsuki and Haku are in charge of them. En route to Taki, as Naruto, Satsuki, and Haku went to Taki to find Chomai's Jinchuriki, they were followed by the. Naruto was angry and said, I can't believe Hashirama would do something so stupid as to give a tailed beast to the village that wanted him dead. It seems like every Hokage is worse than the last one. After Suna caught Shukaku, the first went after every tailed beast and sold them to other villages without asking them first. They said it was to keep the peace. He was so trusting that he gave powerful beings things that they could use against each other. Tobirama didn't like the Uchiha clan, so he made sure they didn't have any say in anything. Naruto kept yelling, Hiruzen betrayed my clan because he was afraid of our sealing arts. He let Danzo and Orochimaru live, and he even told the people of a founding clan to kill each other. I hated Madara Uchiha for years because he used his Sharingan to control me. Then I found out that Tobirama was the one who made him read the stone tablet in the first place. When Indra and Asura almost made up, but Tobirama messed it up, Katsumi said, showing that she now hates Tobirama. Dear old dad never even let me visit Makoto, who was one of the few people who accepted me for who I was, and now she's dead, Naruto said through tears as Satsuki came close to him but tripped over something metal. What in the world? Satsuki asked as she found herself in a hidden place. Satsuki, are you alright? Are you sure you're not hurt? Naruto asked her as he checked to make sure she wasn't hurt and she was blushing. Satsuki thought to herself, he really does love me. Where is this? Haku asked as she looked at the secret lab and saw 2 pods with people in them. A woman with long blue hair that has loops on the tips and pink streaks. She has 2 beauty marks under her blue eyes and wears a white long-sleeved turtleneck shirt with bishop sleeves and dark shorts with blue stars and a moon, and a planet with a ring around it patterns. She also wears blue earrings and black high-heeled shinobi sandals with 2 blue crescent moons and blue heels. The other woman has long, curly blonde hair and light purple eyes with yellow eyeshadow, and vertical lines running through her pupils and irises. She has a green tattoo of the Roman numeral 1 in the middle of her forehead and wears yellow lipstick and matching nail polish on her fingernails and toenails. When Naruto saw the 2 women, he couldn't help but turn red and grin. Give him a break. What kind of man wouldn't do the same thing if he saw 2 beautiful women? As they looked around, they found some Project Kara files. What is Project Kara? Haku asked. Let me see if Kaguya knows about this, Naruto said as he got ready to talk to Kaguya by meditating. Mindscape. Yes, Naruto. Kaguya asked him. Hey, Kaguya, how much do you know about Project Kara? Naruto asked her until she stopped talking and started to breathe too fast. No. He can't be the one. I was sure I had killed him. She called out. Calm down, Kaguya. Who do you mean when you say you killed someone? He asked her in an anxious way. Naruto, pay close attention to what I'm about to say, Kaguya told herself. Beware of Ishiki Otsutsuki. He was my partner before I came to Earth. I don't know how he survived since I used my all-killing ash bones to take away his immortality, but it worries me that he is still alive in some way. Kaguya told them where she came from and that Otsutsuki never betray each other. Wait, you sold him out? Naruto asked. Naruto, I never meant to betray him. Do you know what it's like to go from planet to planet killing people and animals just to get a chakra fruit? Even when I had to mark different creatures before the 10 tails ate them as a clan sacrifice. I never wanted to follow that tradition. Naruto, I know it's different from what you do with your shadow clones, but taking someone's life and identity always makes me feel bad. I never told those 2 shames of former sons because of this, but I had to kill those people because they used my chakra, and Otsutsuki don't give their powers to other beings without a plan like Hagoromo does, Kaguya said as she calmed down. Naruto just looked at her, surprised that she isn't the only one and that there are others who are stronger than her. He suddenly hugged Kaguya. Don't worry, Kaguya, Naruto told her, if your clan comes, we'll beat the crap out of them if they don't listen to reason. She was shocked when he said that to her, even though she had blood on her hands and knew where he came from. He showed her what a true Otsutsuki knows, loyalty. Kaguya said, thank you, Naruto-kun, as she kissed him. Their tongues were fighting for control, but Naruto was winning because he had practiced. Naruto gets kicked out of the mindscape by her. When I have my body, I'll make Naruto shoot his seed all over me and defile me, she said while masturbating and sucking on a big carrot as if it were Naruto's penis.
I will continue this series in next part. Till then, we Weeb offline.